Our sleep experts are here to help, only at Mattress Firm.
Now on Fox 13 News, live at 5.
Please get vaccinated. These numbers can't continue. We hope they won't. We hope the people that can and will get vaccinated.
COVID-19 cases are surging again with an alarming new case count.
Tracking thunderstorms here across the state. Coming up, what you can expect for the rest of the evening and headed into tomorrow. Will these storms make their way up north? Your forecast is coming up.
The governor unveils some new policies to deal with Utah's drought emergency.
Plus, one part of the state gets an upgrade in the drought. How thunderstorms have made a difference in southern Utah, but also have wreaked havoc because of the drought.
And preparing for another round of heavy rains and flash flooding. How people in Moab are getting ahead of the next storms after getting slammed with flooding last night.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13's Live at 5 starts right now.
If masks are part of it, that's fine, but we just need to focus on keeping businesses open and keeping people healthy.
Utah Senate President Stuart Adams is sounding off today after an alarming COVID-19 case count released by state health officials this afternoon.
Utah saw 1,113 new cases of COVID-19 reported today. That's by far the highest number we've seen since February. Governor Cox says today's case count is a step in the wrong direction for Utah, but he remains confident vaccines will turn the tide. He says those who are getting sick and ending up in the hospital are unvaccinated. The governor goes on to say the pandemic of the unvaccinated is tragic because it's preventable and it's never been easier to get a vaccine. And despite all of that, we are told there are no plans at this point for Utah to reinstate a mask mandate.
These high case numbers come as a little less than 8,900 vaccines were administered since yesterday's report. More than 3,200 additional Utahns are now considered fully vaccinated.
In other news right now, flooding and debris flows are being reported in Beaver. Take a look at this picture. The National Weather Service says nearly an inch of rain fell in just 10 minutes. These photos are from Gary Walker. They show standing water near South Creek Loop Road. And at the Canyon Breeze Golf Course, there have been reports of half-dollar coin-size hail coming down there. At least one large tree has fallen and several more tree branches have broken off as well. And you can see from this video and this picture, the rain was falling hard and fast, creating streams of rushing water all over the golf course. What a mess.
Yeah, I tell you what, Allison, southern Utah just can't get a break.
No, and we actually have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings that were just issued. So I wanted to quickly get to those. Panguitch Lake area, severe thunderstorm warning until 5:15 as the storm moves towards the northwest at 15 miles per hour. For that area highlighting in orange right now, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and also we're seeing some quarter-size hail possible, hail damage, wind damage, and also heavy rainfall. Panguitch Lake, a major concern in this area. A little further north from there, we also have a severe thunderstorm warning until 5:30. This is moving north at 20 miles per hour, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and also quarter-size hail, hail damage, wind damage, and heavy rainfall possible. Monroe, Cousharam, Burrillville, and also Greenwich, and also Utah Route 24 near mile marker 30. Beaver saw about 2 inches of rain in around an hour, which was pretty impressive. 1.5 inches of that fell in just 20 minutes. That is pretty incredible for rain rates. So we're, yes, seeing some problems from that flooding. That last clip that we showed you from Canyon Breeze Golf Course, I think that was the best video, just perfectly demonstrating the nature of these floods and these heavy rainfalls as these storms move through. Over towards Blanding, we have a few thunderstorms that have popped up along the higher terrain there. Central Utah, out towards Leamington, Vernon, Fairfields, and then up towards the Uintas. Quite a few thunderstorms have been developing today. Coming up, what you can expect for the rest of tonight and heading into tomorrow in the full forecast.
I want to thank the people of Utah who are making changes, and those changes are having an impact.
Water conservation is working in the state. Local water districts say they are seeing less of a demand on the precious resource, but some big new policies are coming.
Water districts in Utah will start paying you to get rid of your lawn. It's one of several water conservation measures announced today.
We have team coverage for you this evening. Max Roth is tracking where Utah's drought monitor stands right now. But we start with Fox 13's Ben Winslow and the changes in the works on Utah's Capitol Hill.
Utah's governor and local leaders are pushing a series of initiatives to encourage water conservation, and some changes in policies are coming.
We do not have to have grass like we have.
In St. George, Mayor Michelle Randall says they're having to adapt quickly to Utah's drought emergency. They've pulled out 500,000 acre-feet of turf from city-owned facilities so far. Even the city's famed golf courses, a multi-million-dollar economic engine, they're ripping out grass for drought-tolerant plants, and she's even prohibiting any new courses.
No more golf courses in southern Utah.
You're done.
St. George is done for sure. Well, now we have to bring the other cities on board and say we can't do it right now. We just can't. There's not the water to keep up with the demand on a golf course.
We are committed to advancing more aggressive water conservation measures.
Governor Spencer Cox announced a series of policies statewide to advance water conservation. It includes investing in new water-saving technology for agriculture, a big water user, restricting turf in new construction, secondary water metering, which tracks how much you use outdoors, and the biggest policy shift, offering money to homeowners to ditch their lawn for xeriscaping. Outdoor watering accounts for 60% of municipal and industrial use.
It helps us and it looks better.
The Central Utah Water Conservancy District, which supplies half of Utah's population, will start offering up to $2,000 a home.
There's still room for lawn, but we want to put it where it's used and being used by the family.
But water conservation plans cost money, and the legislature will be asked to fund it. State officials are making plans for what happens if the drought extends into next year and beyond.
We've seen variable impacts. Some areas are doing better than others, and those areas that have really gotten down into a danger level in terms of drinking water have actually changed behaviors, and so there haven't been those next draconian steps. I'm optimistic that we'll get through this year, and then we can reevaluate where we are going into next year, depending on how much water falls.
Now, the Utah State Legislature could take up funding requests for these policies later this year. On the Hill, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Today, the U.S. Drought Monitor released the latest map with portions of southern Utah seeing an upgrade from exceptional to extreme drought.
Fox 13's Max Ross spoke with the person behind the map to learn what the change means. Max joining us now live in studio.
Yeah, I learned a lot in this conversation. There's a group of 9 meteorologists with the federal government who rotate responsibility for this drought map every week. So I spoke with the one who was responsible for this week's map. Here we see the last 2 weeks. Last week, we had exceptional drought in most of the state. Take a look at southwestern Utah especially, and even in portions of southeastern Utah. And then you can see what happened this week with this broad swath of southwestern Utah and southeastern Utah, these places where we've seen thunderstorms and flooding. Well, those storms did have a limited impact, and it was a big change from last summer.
Last year, in 2020, it was effectively a monsoon failure. So it's really good news to see a robust and active monsoon circulation in 2021.
Of course, Utahns in the path of floods would not call them good news, and Brad Rippey, this map's author, agrees. He just points out that the thunderstorms are normal. It's the drought that may be more to blame for our abnormally extreme flash flood season.
And in fact, drought can actually exacerbate runoff when you get soils that are baked into almost a concrete-like consistency, and especially in areas where you have clay-type soils. That can really aggravate the runoff situation in times of heavy rainfalls.
The soil like clay, the sun like an oven. Drought almost creating pottery, not entirely impervious, but repelling water for a time. Still, in the big picture, the water is beneficial.
This will improve surface conditions. It'll get streams flowing again. It should improve vegetation condition. And perhaps most importantly, it'll knock down the wildfire threat, at least in the short term.
This animation follows the last 4 weeks of drought monitor maps, and you can see what monsoon moisture has changed. The hard part is what it hasn't changed.
Impacts such as groundwater shortages, low reservoir levels, that's going to persist.
Lake Powell, the second biggest reservoir in the country, more than a foot below its previous record low. Most of its boat ramps don't reach the water right now. Rippey calls it a 20-year mega drought.
It's great that we're getting some rain this summer, but we're going to need a whole lot more to vanquish this drought. And I don't think it's going to be something we're going to quit talking about anytime soon.
You know, but we haven't talked a lot in the past about this term exceptional drought because it doesn't come along that often. So if you've wondered about that difference between extreme and exceptional, well, the meteorologists with the U.S. Drought Monitor Service use statistics. They say if it's a 1 in 20 to 50 year occurrence, that's extreme. If it's something you'll just see once in a lifetime, once in 50 to 100 years, they call that exceptional. Live in studio, Max Roth, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Max, thank you. Still to come, the founder of a Utah-based electric vehicle company is now facing federal fraud charges. How attorneys for the former head of Nikola are responding.
Plus, what a new report is revealing about the state of homelessness in Utah, what's improved, and the challenges that still remain.
Brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today. Shop NissanUSA.com.
Are you one of the millions of Americans who experience occasional bloating, gas, or abdominal discomfort? Taking Align every day can help. Align contains a quality probiotic developed by gastroenterologists. It adds more good bacteria to your gut to naturally help soothe your occasional bloating, gas, and abdominal discomfort. Support your digestive health with Align, the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic. Try Align today. And try new Align fast-acting biotic gummies. Help soothe occasional digestive upsets in as little as 7 days.
Got a fever running up and I am bringing the heat.
It's your guardian angel. It's your muse. It's your smart-dressed, tech-intense, safety-obsessed superhero, the Hyundai Sonata and Elantra. Hey, it's your journey. Own it. Get 0% APR for 60 months on the Elantra or Sonata, or get up to $1,500 in total savings. Only at your Utah Hyundai dealer.
New at 5, Trevor Milton, the founder of Utah-based Nikola Motor Company, is facing federal charges of lying to investors.
Milton was taken into custody this morning in New York. Prosecutors say he claimed Nikola had a fully functioning electric and hydrogen-powered semi-truck prototype known as the Nikola One. But he knew the prototype was inoperable. He also claimed Nikola was producing hydrogen at a reduced cost, but the company was not producing any hydrogen at all.
He even claimed that Nikola was developing the technology for a new pickup truck, which he called the Badger. But in fact, the Badger was nothing more than another company's truck that was dressed up with Nikola branding.
Nikola says Milton is no longer involved with the company's operations. He resigned as chair last year after allegations of deception were first made by short seller Hindenburg Research.
A spokesperson for Milton's legal team did release a statement this morning stressing his innocence. It says, quote, "This is a new low in the government's efforts to criminalize lawful business conduct. Every executive in America should be horrified. Justice was not served by the government's action today, but will be when Mr. Milton is exonerated."
A new report says for the first time, Utah is seeing a 4-year downward trend in the number of people experiencing homelessness. The state's annual report shows a 21% decrease since 2017. There are also fewer people who have returned to homelessness. But the report shows people are spending longer in shelters now. The Utah Office of Homeless Services says this shows the need for more affordable housing.
Now to a warning from the Utah Highway Patrol. Keep the roads safe from debris. Take a look at these dramatic pictures. What you're seeing is a piece of metal debris that crashed right through an Audi's windshield. That windshield just kind of swallowed that metal.
Wow.
Unbelievable. This happened on I-15 in Salt Lake County. Now, thankfully, the driver was able to pull over safely. No one was hurt. If you see debris on the road, it is an emergency. You should call 911 so troopers can remove it.
The Biden administration announces a new push to get more people vaccinated. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with more on those efforts, as some people warn against mandates.
Plus, I talk one-on-one with Utah Congressman Chris Stewart about his take on the president's announcement today as COVID cases continue to climb.
If you love bargain hunting, then you just hit the jackpot. Come in and check out RC Willie's coupon event with huge savings throughout the store.
Hurry in today and enjoy coupon savings in every department. Save now on top brand appliances. Plus, you'll receive additional coupon savings up to $100 on laundry sets and refrigerators. Get a $200 gift card with purchase of select TVs. Purchase an HP printer and a laptop or desktop and get a $20 gift card. View all coupons at rcwilly.com. Don't miss this.
Unlock a summer of possibilities in a new Chevy. Expand your options and your perspective. Find your next adventure in a new Chevy.
The open road is waiting. Current qualified lessees can sign and drive this 2021 Equinox for around $287 a month, or get interest-free financing for 72 months on most 2021 Equinox models when you purchase and finance with GM Financial.
At Smith's, we take scrutinizing freshness to a whole new level, where only the best of the best of the best will do. But just because you can't get any higher than perfect 10 produce, that doesn't mean that we won't try. Because Smith's produce isn't just fresh, it's fresher than fresh. Smith's, fresh for everyone.
In national news, President Joe Biden now rolling out a new effort to get more Americans vaccinated against COVID-19. He now says federal workers must show proof of vaccination or follow regular testing and masking rules.
Fox's Madeline Rivera is in Washington with the latest on the fight to quell the rise of COVID-19 cases as criticism grows over the CDC's latest guidelines.
Less than a month after President Biden shared his hope that the country would soon declare its independence from COVID-19, the White House is delivering a different message. The administration now requiring federal workers to show they're vaccinated or face strict protocols like testing and masking.
As more people get vaccinated, we are better protected as a nation to continue reopening safely and responsibly. We are not fully out of the woods yet.
The new policy is not a mandate. Those who don't get vaccinated aren't at risk of losing their jobs. But it showcases the president's tough battle against sluggish vaccination rates as the Delta variant spurs a spike in cases. Less than half of the country is fully vaccinated per the latest CDC data.
Anyone who's not vaccinated and who did not have COVID previously, the Delta variant is so contagious that you're going to get it.
Just this week, the CDC issued new recommendations saying vaccinated people should wear masks indoors in COVID hotspots. Now some are calling for the CDC to release the science behind the guidance.
These mask mandates, they need to explain. Just give us information. Americans are smart. We know what to do.
As some wait to see whether private companies follow the federal government's lead, some say municipalities should do what's best for them.
I don't necessarily believe that we need a one-size-fits-all policy for everyone in this country.
The president is also calling on state and local governments to offer $100 to those who get vaccinated to be paid for by COVID-19 relief funds. In Washington, Mala Rivera, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The federal government has no right at all to compel someone to be vaccinated.
I spoke with Utah Congressman Chris Stewart this afternoon as President Biden was addressing the nation. He says the CDC has not been consistent in telling Americans the truth regarding COVID-19 and is basing its latest recommendations on inconclusive data.
This study that they're relying on was done in India on a vaccine that was not approved in the United States and has since it failed peer review. It didn't get through, and it couldn't get through the peer review process. And I think we've just got to have more reliable information before we do something so drastic.
Congressman Stewart says the key is for Americans to educate themselves on what's true and what isn't, and he calls on the CDC to be the source of true and accurate information.
In other national news today, about 4 million children from low-income families are now at risk of not receiving monthly payments of the expanded child tax credit this year. That's according to a new report published today by the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. The monthly payment is an advance on part of the annual tax credit of American citizens. And those who have not filed a recent tax return or haven't updated key information with the IRS may miss out on the benefit. If you would like to get caught up, we do have links to several resources on our website, fox13now.com.
The union that represents flight attendants wants the federal government to take action against unruly passengers. It says passenger misbehavior is so out of control, it's putting other passengers and flight crews at risk. A recent union survey found that 85% of respondents have dealt with unruly passengers, and 17% said they experienced a physical incident with a passenger in recent months.
Lawyers for Harvey Weinstein now trying to get 2 of his 11 criminal sex charges thrown out. However, they are having little success. Today, a judge refused to dismiss the counts sexual assault from one of Weinstein's 5 alleged Los Angeles County victims, though prosecutors were told to return to a grand jury to amend a 3rd charge of sexual battery by restraint from a different alleged victim. Weinstein's lawyers argued the 3 charges are beyond the statute of limitations. Weinstein is expected back in court on September 13th.
Now to the drought in the West. Severe conditions and unrelenting wildfires continue to take a toll on much of California and the Pacific Northwest. About 1.7 million acres have been scorched so far.
Bob, that's about the same size as the state of Delaware. As Daryl Forges reports, state and local officials are now pleading for more federal resources.
Record heat and drought conditions fueling devastating wildfires across the West.
All that's left is rubble. There's nothing left standing.
At least 82 major wildfires scorching nearly 1.7 million acres across 13 states.
In the state of California, year to date, we're close to 4 times the acres burned year to date this year compared to the pace that was set last year.
The Tamarack fire has charred more than 68,000 acres spanning across the border of California and Nevada. The governors pleading for help.
We need more people more boots on the ground in order to make this a more fair fight in terms of fighting these fires.
The Bootleg fire is the largest blaze in the country, burning over 400,000 acres along the Oregon-California border. Over 50% of the fire is contained. Some residents coming home to ashes.
I knew it was going to be a bad fire season. I had a feeling. I thought it was going to take everything. I saw it coming.
According to the U.S. Drought Monitor, the drought conditions are worsening. Exceptional drought covers nearly 50% of California, 25% of Oregon, and the state of Washington is also seeing a record high. Lawmakers say now is time for action.
Every year gets more and more intense, and it just shows you the effect that global warming is having on our environment.
I'm Daryl Forges reporting.
As we said before, southern Utah's really taken it on the chin lately with these thunderstorms and the flooding. And
oh my goodness.
It's awful.
I can't believe 1 inch of rain in 10 minutes in Beaver this afternoon.
Crazy. It's about 2 inches of rain in less than an hour, so in 50 minutes today. That is just, wow. I'm surprised we're not seeing more reports of damage than we are getting, and we're showing you already some basement flooding in the area. But checking out the cameras in central Utah, Oak City, you can just see how cloudy it is. So it is pretty cloudy for a lot of the state currently. Here's what you need to know for these storms. They are, a lot of them moving very slowly, so nearly stationary, and they're dropping a lot of rain. So right now, a severe thunderstorm warning for the Acushnet area. This goes until 5:30, and this is moving north at 20 miles per hour. With this, we're seeing 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and also quarter-size hail. So hail damage, some wind damage possible, and also heavy rainfall. It's just that rain outlook with how moist our atmosphere is allowing these storms to really produce quite a bit in a short amount of time. So Beaver had about 2 inches of rain in less than an hour. An inch and a half of that fell in 20 minutes, as we were just saying. That is pretty crazy for the amount of totals. Pankwitch Lake did just have a severe thunderstorm warning that moved through. No reports of any problems with boaters or people out on kayaks. But if any of that information does come out, we'll let you know. But hopefully they got everyone off the lake in time. As we look across the rest of central and southern Utah, I want to take you down towards the Lake Powell area. I know this is an extremely popular hike, and it's now back open on the Navajo Nation. This is for Upper Antelope and also Lower Antelope Canyon. A flash flood warning until 8 o'clock tonight. They do a really good job keeping an eye on that water, so hopefully everyone's going to be safe in the area as those storms are moving through. It's an extremely popular hiking area. As we look towards central Utah, This is where we do still have towards Leamington, Eureka. We've had these thunderstorms that have really just been slow moving and in the area for quite a while. So right now, just tracking last night, some thunderstorms that were in Tooele County, not nearly as active for Tooele County currently compared to last night at 9 o'clock, but we'll keep our eye on that for you. Most of our rain is east of Highway 6 up towards the Uintas near Tabiona, Evanston area. Seeing a little bit of rain just east of there along I-80. The storm threat for today is for some thunderstorms here across the state. Some of these will produce heavier rainfall, but some even stronger storms off to our northeast. But we have been seeing wind that could cause damage with some of these stronger thunderstorms. So great day to stay weather aware. Temperatures here across the state, most of us along the Wasatch Front around 90. Quite a bit cooler Cedar City at 74, up towards the Milford area at 81, St. George 100 degrees right now. Tomorrow morning here in Salt Lake City, when you first wake up, it'll be partly cloudy and low 70s into the 80s by 11 a.m. So futurecast through the rest of tonight, we will continue with showers and thunderstorms here across the state through about 2-3 a.m. Then we'll sort of die down a little bit by late morning, and then we'll see that ramp up again tomorrow afternoon. So for today, we do have that chance for excessive rainfall here across the region, and for tomorrow even more so across southwestern Utah all the way up through Nephi along I-15. Upper moisture forecast keeps this rain around for quite a while here across the state. So for the St. George area, your temperatures over the next couple of days are going to be about 90 degrees for Friday, into the mid to low 90s for this weekend. Then you warm back up close to 105 Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. For the Wasatch Front, we are around 90 through the weekend, mid to upper 80s, and then we're warming back up into the 90s next week. Coming up later in the hour, I'll show you future casts for the next couple of afternoons so you can get a better idea of how these storms are going to play out.
Moab was hit hard with flash flooding last night.
It was like a hurricane in the desert.
And it's not over yet. Bracing for more heavy rain today. How they're preparing for more flooding. And what a BYU study says about Disney's princess culture and its impact on our children.
Now's the time to get a Ford built for you by you. Pick your color, your wheels, and other available features specifically designed for your Ford. Want an F-150 with a 12-inch touchscreen, 400 horsepower in an Explorer, or a moonroof? You got it. And now an additional $1,000 bonus cash on top of all public offers. See your dealer for a Ford built for you, by you. Build and order your select Ford today and get $1,000 bonus cash in addition to all public offers.
A garden hose is like roadside assistance. Quality matters. So join AAA, America's most recommended roadside service, for $5 a month.
At iMart Express, you'll save on glasses for classes. For $79, get 2 pairs with kid-safe polycarbonate lenses and a free 1-year frame warranty. Don't let the bell ring before you get a chance to save. A $200 value, all for $79.
We built the Kia Niro EV to go up to 239 miles on a single charge, yet also managed to find room for the same intuitive safety features we put in all Niros. We went to the ends of the earth to build the Kia Niro EV because we share your belief that the earth is worth the effort. Lease a new 2021 Niro EV EX for $209 a month.
I'm Matt Oviatt with 1-800-SELLNOW.com, and I want to buy your house. Wouldn't it be helpful to pay some bills or other obligations before you sell your house? 1-800-SELLNOW.com can give you an advance of up to $10,000 prior to closing. 1-800-SELLNOW.com makes it easy to sell your house with no fees, no commissions, no banks, and no repairs. Just go to 1-800-SELLNOW.com for a free, no obligation cash offer 24 hours a day. That's 1-800-SELLNOW.com.
Dad?
I was the lead singer.
Packing tape is like roadside assistance. Quality matters. So join AAA, America's most recommended roadside service, from $5 a month.
In today's Money Watch, the U.S. economy is growing a bit.
In the second quarter, it grew at an annual rate of 6.5%. That is the fastest pace since last fall, but still slower than analysts expected. The recovery was spurred by an increase in consumer spending and continued vaccination efforts. That's allowed Americans to take part in public life safely once again. However, economists say momentum slowed because of inflation. We'll see how the highly contagious COVID Delta variant may affect the economy in the coming weeks.
The biggest food and beverage company in the world is raising prices again. Nestle says it has no choice but to raise prices by 2% for the rest of the year. The company says its own costs have gone up 4%. Nestle has already raised prices by more than 1% in 2021. CEO Ulf Mark Schneider believes inflation is temporary, but the sudden increase in prices has put pressure on the company's profit margin. Several other companies have recently warned about raising prices too.
Now, that term getting more popular, raising prices, unfortunately. Take a quick look on Wall Street today. The Dow rose 154 points to close at 35,085. The Nasdaq added 16. The S&P gained 19.
Ahead in the next half hour, after dramatic flash flooding in Moab last night, residents are now bracing for yet another round of a fast-moving storm and water. We'll explain what Moab City leaders are doing ahead of this storm.
And when you can't watch Fox 13 News live, you can always watch us streaming online for free. Find us on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Just search Fox 13 on your device. We'll be right back.
This can't be good.
You've got enough to think about maintaining. Luckily, your Volkswagen is easy. The all-new 2022 Taos has a lower cost of maintenance than its Toyota, Honda, and Subaru competitors. Life's easier in a Volkswagen. Come into your Volkswagen dealer today and lease the all-new 2022 Taos S for just $219 a month.
This summer, take a day to Lagoon on Fox 13 with 2 for Tuesdays after 2 p.m. All summer long, you can take anyone after 2 p.m. on a Tuesday to Lagoon, and your guest gets in free. Purchase your single-day passport online at regular price at lagoonpark.com and enter the promo code FOX13 2 for 1 and receive a second pass for your guest for free. Check out fox13now.com for additional details. It's 2 for Tuesday, only at Lagoon.
Welcome back, everyone. Some areas of Utah could see another round of heavy rains this evening. Just yesterday, floodwaters washed out Cane Creek Road near Moab. Crews right now are repairing it, but they are worried it could get washed out once again.
Fox 13's Haley Higgins has an update on what the city's doing to prepare for yet another round of flash flooding.
Moab's Main Street turned into a river Wednesday when 2 inches of rain fell in an hour.
Let's get a good look at what's going on out here.
Denver residents Rick and Jill Uplager stopped in Moab for the night.
It was like a hurricane in the desert, you know? It was just insanity.
I thought maybe there was a tornado.
According to records, would be a 100-year storm event that we dealt with yesterday. And it felt like a 100-year storm event.
Moab City reports the majority of damage was to dozens of homes and businesses when floodwaters overran the city's storm system. Tree branches dropped on countless cars, power lines fell, a gas line broke. The city manager says the town is rushing to get things cleaned up before another potential round of flash flooding.
Prepare as much as you can and wait and see where the storm actually rolls through tonight when the monsoons pop back up. And you know, it's feast or famine. You're either having a drought or you're having a flood. You kind of got to pick your poison, I guess.
To prepare, 11 cities from northern Utah quickly collected and donated 25,000 sandbags. By noon, they were being filled by volunteers in Moab.
I think there's, amazing communities around the state, and it's good to be able to help some of them out when they're in need.
While cleanup continues, the Uplagers say it was a storm they will never forget.
It was an adventure.
This is one for the books.
Moab City leaders say they haven't received any reports of injuries related to the storm. Power has been restored, and they say they've received minimal damage to the city infrastructure. Reporting in Salt Lake City, Haley Higgins, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Cities in Utah County also donated 25,000 sandbags to Cedar City as they too are expecting strong storms after flash flooding earlier this week. And cleanup efforts continue in Cedar City after Monday's severe flooding. But with more flooding possible, the city is helping people who have already been impacted and those who need to prepare for what future storms could bring. Large dumpsters are in place now at the Cross Hollow Arena to put any items ruined by the floods. The Iron County landfill is waiving fees for flood-damaged items for at least the next week. The American Red Cross does have an emergency shelter at the church building at 61 North, 900 West. Cedar City and Iron County Public Works offices both have sandbags available for free. Cedar City is seeking assistance in filling those bags, however. And anyone impacted by the storms should report any damage on the city's website.
Investigators are looking for the driver who hit and killed a man walking on I-15 southbound in Salt Lake City early this morning. The Utah Highway Patrol says it happened just before 1 a.m. near 900 North. Investigators closed the freeway for several hours to gather evidence. The medical examiner is trying to identify the man. He did not have ID on him. We'll keep you posted as we learn more.
A driver had to be flown to the hospital after this crash on U.S. Highway 6 early this morning. UHP says just before 5 a.m., a westbound car drifted right at the Schofield Junction and hit a stopped semi right on the shoulder of the road. The semi driver was actually outside of the vehicle at the time and not injured, but the driver of the car was seriously hurt. They are expected to be okay. Troopers are investigating whether impairment was a factor.
A huge conference is taking place in Salt Lake City that will impact politics going forward.
The American Legislative Exchange Council is meeting this week. It's a group that advances legislative policies across a number of states. The group has been criticized for a copy and paste style of pushing policies in legislatures around the country. Its national chairman is Utah Senate President Stuart Adams. He says the meeting is an exchange of ideas.
We've talked about health care, we talked about the pandemic, we talked about criminal justice reform, we talked about state and local governments and how we interact with them. It's been it's a broad list, and it goes on. So.
Utah Governor Spencer Cox addressed the conference today, calling for an end to the political polarization and for lawmakers to reach across the aisle to those with whom they don't always agree.
That time of season where we.
The owners of Utah-based Traeger rang the opening bell on the New York Stock Exchange this morning as the company went public. Shares are going for $18 and are being traded under the ticker symbol Cook.
A new Veterans Resource Center has opened in Cache Valley. It's the first of its kind, not only in the state, but the region as well.
Fox 13's Aaron Cox spoke with a veteran who says this new center is already making a big difference.
Before Paul Lamont's time as an officer,
I was a police officer for 43 years. I was a chief for 15 years.
Served in the Vietnam War.
I'm a person who loves the United States.
A love Lamont has committed his life to. Stationed on a destroyer for 4 years, Lamont worked on Operation Dominic at the nuclear testing facility in the 1960s.
We didn't know an awful lot, but almost everyone of them died of cancer.
Since 2018, Lamont has been fighting bladder cancer.
Department of Justice pulled my military records out of the archives at the Pentagon. You were in Operation Dominique, you were exposed to nuclear radiation, you had bladder cancer.
Living in Logan, Lamont learned of a new Veterans Resource Center.
Everybody had this whole thing in their head. Go send him to Salt Lake. Well, that's ridiculous. Why would I do that? Why can't we help them up here?
Phil Redlinger, the mastermind behind the center, created a one-stop shop for veterans.
The benefit of this is to allow all of our veterans and service members get help right here. You don't have to bounce to CAPSA and BWS for food stamps, and you don't have to go to Bragg for housing, and you don't have to go to the VA for health and hope that someone's going to respond within that time frame. Because us veterans, we like to get the job done.
The center has workstations for veterans to receive help building resumes. There's a kitchen for cooking and life classes, and a closet full of clothes, and drawers filled with hygiene products for the homeless.
So if you bring your kids, this is the best part, we built a family space. So instead of a desk, we added a kids' play area.
For Lamont, it means getting the help he needs.
I think that Cache Valley Veterans Administration have done more for me than anybody.
Lamont says his cancer has spread throughout his body. He also says his children have been diagnosed with skin cancer, something that's not within their family history. When Lamont asked his doctor about it, he says the radiation changed Lamont's DNA, affecting his children. In Salt Lake County, Aaron Cox, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The center is named after a veteran who inspired Phil Redlinger. The Dan Gillenskog Veterans Resource Center serves more than 15,000 veterans in 5 counties, including 2 in Idaho.
Coming up, new research done in Utah suggests something called princess culture could decrease attitudes of toxic masculinity in children. We'll go in depth on what that means.
And coming up, I'm still tracking some strong thunderstorms here across our state where we could see flash flooding tonight. Coming up, we're back in 60 seconds.
Hey, it's your journey. Own it. Get 0% APR for 60 months on the Elantra or Sonata, or get up to $1,500 in total savings. Only at your Utah Hyundai dealer.
If you love bargain hunting, then you just hit the jackpot. Come in and check out RC Willie's coupon event with huge savings throughout the store.
Hurry in today and enjoy coupon savings in every department. Save now on top brand appliances. Plus, you'll receive additional coupon savings up to $100 on laundry sets and refrigerators. Get a $200 gift card with purchase of select TVs. Purchase an HP printer and a laptop or desktop and get a $20 gift card. View all coupons at rcwillie.com. Don't miss this.
It's your journey. Own it. The Hyundai Santa Fe. Get 0.9% APR for 60 months on the Santa Fe, or get up to $1,000 in total savings. Only at your Utah Hyundai dealer.
As the Olympic Games continue, mental health now starting to take the spotlight. Simone Biles opted out of competing this week, citing mental concerns. It has now prompted a lot of questions about what these athletes go through and the pressure they face. Doctors at the Huntsman Mental Health Institute say the pressure can set people up for added stress. And it's very important to keep in mind those athletes are human too.
I think it's what's really important for all of us that are watching this to recognize is that this can happen to any of us. This is not just an elite athlete thing. This is everybody thing.
Simone Biles says she has seen an outpouring of support for taking her mental health seriously, including from former Olympians like Michael Phelps. He started his own foundation, which has a focus on training athletes as whole people, which includes a focus on emotional wellness. Due to his own struggles with stress while competing, that's what kind of created the foundation there, Bob.
That's right. Your children could have more progressive beliefs later in life if they grow up watching princess movies. That's according to new research from BYU. The research also found that children who had high princess culture engagement during their early years were more likely to view educational opportunities, relationships, and careers as being equally important for men and women, and that they would be less likely to demonstrate behaviors that fall under the category of toxic masculinity.
It was positive for both boys and girls, and then they reported adhering less to hegemonic masculinity, meaning that they're thinking that men and women should be equal and that boys can show emotion.
The study also showed that children who watched and played with more princess culture movies and toys had better body image than children who did not. We can link you to the full study at fox13now.com.
Well, we all know wildfires are hard to deal with, but some people have taken drastic measures just to get away from the smoke. We'll explain what they're doing to stay healthy during wildfire season.
And later in sports, a holdout no longer. How much is former BYU quarterback Zach Wilson getting with the Jets? And Southern Utah's about ready to bolt the Big Sky, but not before some unfinished business. Here from T-Bird head coach DeMario Warren. Back in a bit.
A garden hose is like roadside assistance. Quality matters. So join AAA, America's most recommended roadside service, for $5 a month.
A Ford built for you, by you.
Get yours, built from the ground up with your choice of colors, wheels, and other available features specifically designed for your Ford. Want a head-up display and escape, 5 GOAT modes in Bronco Sport, or best-in-class gas torque in a Ranger? You've got it. And now an extra $1,000 bonus cash on top of all public offers. See your dealer for a Ford built for you, by you. Build and order your select Ford today and get $1,000 bonus cash in addition to all public offers.
Team USA is ready for the Olympic Games, and so is Erica. She's got incredible internet speed with Wi-Fi faster than a gig. So when all of Team USA is going for gold, her Wi-Fi can power it all and more.
I love you.
Can your internet do that?
Cheer on Team USA with Wi-Fi speeds faster than a gig. Or get started with Xfinity Internet for $19.99 a month for 12 months. Switch today.
At Smith's, we take scrutinizing freshness to a whole new level, where only the best of the best of the best will do. But just because you can't get any higher than perfect 10 produce, that doesn't mean that we won't try. Because Smith's produce isn't just fresh, it's fresher than fresh. Smith's, fresh for everyone.
Dad?
I was the lead singer.
Packing tape is like roadside assistance. Quality matters. So join AAA, America's most recommended roadside service, from $5 a month.
So glad you could join us for Fox 13 News Live at 5. Fox 13 meteorologist Allison Krogan is going to have your first alert forecast in a few minutes, concentrating, of course, on southern Utah, where those flash floods are headed again.
More rain this evening.
Yep.
In the meantime, we know wildfires can force people to evacuate their homes, but now they're forcing people to move out of fire-prone areas.
And that means all of those fires are now affecting home values. Redfin.com says homes in wildfire areas sold for nearly 4% less than those in lower-risk zip codes.
Stephanie Stone takes a closer look.
Last summer pushed Chris McCrum over the edge.
This incredible lightning storm evening we had that started thousands of fires around the Bay Area. We had the situation where the north, the east, and the south areas were burning. The west, of course, is oceans. So in other words, every part of the Bay Area had fires surrounding it. It was quite extraordinary. Almost biblical.
After living in California's Bay Area for more than 30 years, he decided to leave his Oakland Hills home. The smoke sent him packing.
Smoke lasted for weeks, and the reason, of course, the smoke lasted for weeks was because the fires were burning for weeks, and they were starting new fires.
The pandemic made us all realize that many jobs could be done remotely. Chris realized he could move out of a heavy wildfire area and keep up with his executive coaching career. So he went straight west to the coast near Monterey, effectively outrunning wildfire season.
The quality of life that, part of the whole point of living in the Oakland Hills was you have this access to incredible hiking trails and outdoors, none of which you could access because it was unhealthy to do so. So it was a really unfortunate combination of events.
And he's not alone. Daryl Fairweather is Redfin's chief economist.
I lived in Seattle for 4 years, and in 3 out of the 4 summers that I lived there was wildfire smoke so bad that we couldn't go outside for over a week.
She moved her family to the Midwest for the same reason, and ironically, she's part of the data that she now analyzes for Redfin.
More than a third of homes in Utah, for example, are at risk of burning from wildfires. And as wildfires become more prevalent, that's likely to grow. In Colorado, it's 19%. In California, it's only 6.7%. But actually, there are so many people in California that it represents a very large portion of people that are in harm's way when it comes to wildfires.
But she says each area has its own challenges and problems. So you may be trading one issue for another when you move.
People are generally moving off of the West Coast. The West Coast has problems with wildfires, and they're moving actually into an area that has its own climate risk, the southern part of the United States, like Phoenix, Texas. These are places that are all going to have drought and water shortages in the future.
In the end, it all comes back to budget and what families can afford. Some are moving into areas that have already burned and are trying to rebuild.
It's interesting because there are definitely stories of people leaving areas that are wildfire prone because they're just fed up with it and they don't want to deal with rising insurance costs or even just the trauma of going through a wildfire. But it seems like for now, for every person who's leaving a wildfire area, people are still moving in, largely because of affordability.
For Chris, who got to experience being both a buyer and a seller, things worked out well, and he couldn't be happier.
It felt like the stars were aligning at that time, and so far it's been wonderful to be in this new area.
I'm Stephanie Stone reporting.
Well, another day with strong thunderstorms here across the state. Here's what I'm tracking for you right now. A brand new severe thunderstorm warning just issued for the Escalante area. This storm is moving towards the northwest at 10 miles per hour. This goes until 6:15, so for the next half hour. Again, just issued. What we're seeing with this, some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail as the storm is slowly moving through the Escalante area right now. Look at all that lightning that it's putting down. Hail damage, wind damage, and also torrential rain occurring with this storm. So this does specifically impact Utah Route 12, mile markers 45 to 59. That's not an area you'd want to be driving through right now, especially a lot of those are narrow roads. So what we're tracking this afternoon, storms that are putting down a lot of rain. Beavers saw about 2 inches of rain that fell in around an hour, and 1.5 inches of that fell in 20 minutes. So these storms are producing extremely heavy rainfall in a very short amount of time. As we look down towards the Arizona border, we also have a flash flood warning to tell you about for upper and lower Antelope Canyons, a very popular hiking spot. Obviously, it's terrain that you don't want to be in if there is a flash flood warning. And then we also have a new an aerial flood advisory that was just issued northwest of Blanding until 8:45, mainly for rural areas of central San Juan County. So on that south end of the Canyonlands. As we look into central Utah, we've had a few thunderstorms that have slowly been moving through the Delta and Leamington areas. So up into Tooele County last night, we had a lot of very strong winds, and we also had quite a few thunderstorms. Right now on that eastern edge up into the UNS, we're seeing some lighter rain, but the bulk of our activity has been tied to the higher terrain across central and southern Utah this evening. And then just north of Parley's Canyon up towards Colville, right there at I-84, we do on both sides of I-84 have a few thunderstorms that have popped up, again, linked to that terrain. Temperature-wise, most of us are around 85 to 95 degrees here across the state. St. George currently 100 degrees, but overnight temps 60s and 70s. Highs tomorrow, enjoy the cool down. We'll have about 80 to 90 here for most of the state, but let's talk about this future cast because even overnight tonight, 5 a.m., we're going to continue with some thunderstorms here across central Utah. And then by tomorrow afternoon, 6 p.m., more thunderstorms here across the state. And then heading into Saturday afternoon, more of the same. Thunderstorms will become likely here across much of Utah for the weekend afternoons and even parts of the overnight hours into early next week. By Tuesday at 8 a.m., we'll still have a few remaining storms here across Utah. Usually with flooding, flash flooding, slot canyons, normally dry washes, and burn scars are the areas you want to be most careful with. And then again, reminder, never drive or walk through flooded roads or washes. Rain projection keeps our highest totals into the mountains for the next couple of days, but still that chance for some brief heavy rainfall for our valleys here across Utah. Southern Utah, around 90 to 95 through Sunday. Early next week, we're back in the triple digits by Tuesday, close to 105 through the middle of the week. And for the Wasatch Front, we're close to 85 to 90 through Monday and Tuesday, and then we're back into the 90s after that.
The NBA draft is minutes away from breaking open in Brooklyn. An event typically held in late June. It was bumped 5 weeks later than usual. The Pistons will pick first. The Jazz, one and only pick, currently slated for the final selection of the first round. Number 30 overall. Will they trade it? Possibly. I'll be sure and fill you in tonight at 9. There's a purported trade in the works that could soon involve former Ute Kyle Kuzma. The Lakers are trying to acquire Russell Westbrook from the Wizards, which would give them a new big three in LA. To do that, though, Kuzma would most likely be among several pieces on their way to Washington, D.C. in return. BYU Hoops added a quality non-conference opponent for next season. A neutral site game against Creighton in Sioux Falls, South Dakota on December 11th. Creighton made a Sweet 16 run last season and had the 5th-ranked recruiting class in the country. The Cougars also have games scheduled against Utah, Utah State, Weber State, Utah Valley, San Diego State, and Iona, as well as a spot in the Diamond Head Classic. The Zach Wilson wait is over in the Big Apple after missing the first day of Jets training camp. The number 2 overall pick in BYU blood made it official in New York, finally signing his rookie contract today. There he is with pen in hand and all smiles once he saw the dollar signs. A lot of zeros involved, a hair over $35 million over 4 years, including a $23 million signing bonus. Expect the Draper native to be the starting quarterback on September 12th. When the Jets open up the season at the Panthers, giving Zach a full month and a half to prepare. The Jets' first preseason game is August 14th against the Crosstown Giants.
What's up, guys? I'm excited to get to work. I'm excited to see you guys out on Saturday. We're going to have a good time. We're going to get after it, and we're just going to keep getting better every single day.
Southern Utah this week was picked to finish 11th out of 13 teams in both the Big Sky preseason media and coaches polls. It's a significant season in terms of being the T-Birds last competing in the Big Sky. They jump over to the WAC beginning in 2022-23, and even though SUU might have a lot to prove, they've finished on top before with 2 first-place Big Sky trophies over the last 5 years.
I mean, it was a big moment of our programs when we moved into the Big Sky, and we've had success and had 2 championships. So to be able to end on a strong note and try to win the title the last year would be awesome. So it just gives some extra motivation because we know this is our last chance. You won't ever have a chance to be Big Sky champs again. So you've got to go all in and put all your chips on the table and see what happens.
And some matinee baseball in San Francisco. The Dodgers and Giants separated by only a couple games in the NL West. The home team adding a 4th run against former Cy Young David Price. Austin Slater bloops home Tyro Estrada in the 4th. LA can match with 1 swing in the 6th, but Harlan Garcia fans his only batter. The Giants shut him out to keep hold of the best record in baseball at 64-38. The Bees start a new series tonight in New Mexico, and it'll be fun to see what the Jazz do in the draft. They need a lanky defender. That's what they need.
All right, well, load them up.
On the board at number 30.
Defender.
Thanks, Morgan.
We'll be right back.
Kate didn't talk to a Mattress Firm sleep expert. Now she's sleep typing and just hit reply all.
I did? Oh.
Go to Mattress Firm and unjunk your sleep.
Everybody's talking about the crunchiest hit of the summer. Del Taco's Crunch Tatas come in bean and cheese, seasoned beef with Del Taco's signature queso, or chicken with fresh guacamole. Starting at only $1. Only at Del Taco. Del yeah, baby. Del yeah. So crunchy.
Want to know how we make your glasses so fast? It's all done right here. With a lab in every store, our skilled techs handle your glasses from start to finish. You get them in as little as 30 minutes. No cut corners, just quality, affordable glasses. Only at iMart Express.
Now's a great time to get a dream deal on a certified pre-owned Honda from your Utah Honda dealers. With available 0.99% financing on select certified pre-owned Hondas. Honda Certified, the best pre-owned value in America. And you can shop them all at one place, UtahHondaDealers.com.
Better sleep means a better you. Mattress Firm's Rest Assured promise guarantees you'll find your perfect bed from America's best brands, like the Tempur-Breeze collection. Now with a $300 instant gift, good towards sleep accessories. Only at Mattress Firm.
Skylight thunderstorms will continue over the next couple of days. In St. George, a little bit cooler this weekend, highs in the low 90s. And then for the Wasatch Front, we're going to be warming up next week. But until then, enjoy these below average temperatures. Thunderstorms will be likely the next couple of days, so stay weather aware.
It's a nice little cool down, especially the overnight temperatures.
Yeah, very nice.
Enjoy those.
Thanks for being part of Fox 13 News Live at 5.
See you at 9.
Our investigation into at-home COVID tests. We put them to the test so